What I'm going to share with you in this video is how smoking hot bebs, 10 out of 10 dime pieces, truly beautiful women, and celebrities helped me grow my clothing brand 10 times faster. I'm assuming if you're watching this that you're at least over the age of 20, so you're an adult, and I'm going to treat you like an adult. We're going to talk about some controversial stuff here that you can't really talk about in the mainstream because people get too offended. It's just going to scare people away. And what we're going to talk about is how social value truly works and how social value is going to massively enhance the results that you're getting for your brand. I want to explain to you a concept known as social proof and social value. Social value, put simply, get ready. This is a hard one for people to realize, but it's true. Some people are valued more than others. Human beings, we tend to put more worth on certain people than we do on other people. And this is a hard thing to accept. If it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. And we need to talk about it because it greatly impacts how you're gonna run your clothing brand moving forward. A perfect example of this to illustrate is in the saying, the hungry don't get fed. What I mean by the hungry don't get fed is that people who need things and are in that scarcity loop tend to stay in that scarcity loop. And it's really hard to get things from other people when you need things from other people. The more abundance that you have, the more easy it is to continue getting more and more in abundance. If a homeless person walked into a restaurant and that homeless person was starving, dead broke, didn't have any money, and they needed food, the restaurant would likely turn them away, kick them out, get out of here. Meanwhile, they really needed that meal. Like they really, truly needed it. Whereas if Leonardo DiCaprio walked into that same restaurant, he's the last person on earth who needs a free meal. And that restaurant will probably say, you don't even need to pay for this. It's on the house. Here you go. Take this, Leo, and enjoy. So it's really a great example of feedback loops. The more that you're closer to a state of survival where you really need things in the moment, the harder it is to get out of that state and to build up your resources. Because when you really need things, you come across in a certain way, you act in a certain way that's for the moment, that's off-putting, that's just sort of desperate, and it freaks people out. And the more that you already have resources, the more easy it is to accumulate more resources. And so that concept of social value is really important to understand. I went way too deep into that, by the way. This whole concept of social value is really important for you to understand because who your brand is associated with socially is a huge part of the value your clothing brand offers to the world in general. So like who your clothing brand is attached to socially is basically like 80 to 90% of all of the value your clothing brand has to offer to begin with. This is why there are 3 athletes in the world that have over $1 billion contracts with Nike. The clothing brand Nike gave these people $1 billion, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Tiger Woods, to endorse their brand because of the social value and what it offers the company in terms of credibility, in terms of trust, people looking up to their idols and wanting to be like their idols. It offers the brand so much value. The way that we value other people depends on your status, on your reputation, on your influence, and on your alignment with particular societal norms and expectations. Another super important concept for you to tap into with your clothing brand to just get way above average results than the average brand is social proof. Social proof is where, as human beings, we rely on the opinions, the actions, and behaviors of other people to determine our own decision making. And this is one of those phenomenons that is so powerful and so strong that is like written into our DNA as human beings to look to other people to get all of our decision making and how we want to live our lives and what we're doing with our lives. It's so embedded into all of us, but we don't like to see it. We have a lot of cognitive dissonance around this, and we like to pretend like, oh yeah, no, I make all my own decisions and I'm my own person and I'm this like independent guy who's so self-thinking and what nobody says really affects me. But the truth is that we're all being affected by this 24/7. All of our culture, all of the people around us, and how they're acting, how they're behaving has a huge impact on all the decisions that we make. What I want to talk about next here is how hot girls and celebrities were the main injection of social proof and social value for my clothing brand. Exactly how I did it and how it impacted my brand. Before we get into it, Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at DesignCrowd. And if you struggle with designs, I seriously recommend that you try them out. You post your project on DesignCrowd. Sick designers from all over the world are going to be like, whoa, that's a pretty sick design idea. Let me try this. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. I've literally sold thousands of these designs that you're looking at on my website, and I got them all made through DesignCrowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code apparel when you post a project on DesignCrowd. All right, back to it here. One of the reasons why this video is called How Hot Girls and Celebrities Grew My Clothing Brand 10 Times Faster is because when I first started up my clothing brand 8 years ago in 2016, there was no TikTok, there was no Instagram Reels. Everything was photos. Phones hadn't gotten good enough at that point that the video quality was good enough that a TikTok or an Instagram Reels would really work. That's why TikTok and Instagram Reels really became a whole thing. Once the phones got to a point where the video quality was so good, everything sort of switched from photos to videos. But back when I first started up, it was all Instagram. Photos was like the best thing that you could do to market your brand. This is like the era of Jen Selter, all of these like smoking hot Instagram models gaining like tens of millions of followers really, really quickly. And the reason for that is because people like to look at girls on Instagram. They set trends for other girls, and other girls look up to them and their beauty. And guys, obviously, I don't think I need to explain why guys like looking at it so much. But for like 3 years straight, when I started up my brand, I would post these pictures of really good-looking girls wearing our clothing brand in rural Canada. They all wanted to support our brand. They also probably wanted to help out with our brand because we were getting followers and we were getting traction and sending more followers their way. And the social value of our brand went up like crazy. What posting these good-looking girls was really doing is under the surface, it was communicating things at a micro level, sort of behind the scenes. If a clothing brand has access to these good-looking girls, it's hard to have that. And these girls have a really high social status. And so it gives your brand this sort of perception and look of being high quality, being high status, and sort of being a trendsetter. And the point of this video isn't to tell you that you need to post smoking hot bebs to your Instagram in order for you to become successful. The point of this video is to illustrate how social value works. And these good-looking girls were a component of that in my own clothing brand, in building social proof, in building social value, in gaining more credibility, and in gaining more exposure and reach in general for our brand. Now, you might be over there thinking, hey, Rob, how did you gain access to all these smoking hot bebs? What were you doing over there, huh? You little weirdo on YouTube, shooting your little weird YouTube videos? How'd you get access to all these smoking hot Beblenheims? Well, the way that I gained access to these smoking hot Beblingtons were I basically knew a few personally. Pretty cool guy over here, you know, not as weird as I might seem on YouTube. And I also found girls on Instagram that were like kind of a low micro influencer that didn't have a crazy huge following, but sort of like were really good looking, were also living in rural Canada. And I sent them free clothing. And I basically was like, hey, if you take some pictures, if you send us some pictures, if you want to create some content for us, we'll send you a tank top, we'll send you a hoodie. Think about it from like a business perspective where you send this girl a free tank top, which they obviously love to get just free stuff sent to them. You send them a tank top, it costs you what? $7 to make it, $10 to ship it, whatever it is, $17 investment. And you get these sick pictures for your brand of these good-looking people wearing your brand, rocking it, and increasing the value of your brand. A lot of people like to think about their marketing in this like transactional way all the time. I do this, I get this result. But just simply doing things like that build value will translate to hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in sales over the next year or two if you've got many of these people out there taking pictures and you're accumulating all of that social value. And with celebrities, I basically did the same thing. I reached out to celebrities that were aligned with my clothing brand in the rural Canadian niche, and I offered them free clothing. Hey, we love you in Letterkenny, which is like a huge popular TV show here in Canada. We'd love to send you a free hoodie just to say thanks. And I basically didn't even ask them for anything. It was like, boom, here, there's just some free clothing for you. And when they get it, they want to reciprocate. If they really like the clothing that you're selling, This is also why your clothing actually has to be good. There has to be a really good product that they truly want to wear. But if you send it to them and they truly like it and they enjoy wearing it and they're happy about it, they'll likely send you a picture of them wearing it. And boom, there goes like the value of your brand like crazy. Way increase, super fast. And I did this dozens of times for my own brand, getting onto good looking people, cool people, influential people, and celebrities who have influence that are aligned with your niche, where the people who are buying from you, the regular civilian customers who are buying from you, look up to all of these different people and they're influenced by them and they appreciate them. They love these people. They're their idols. It just, on a subtle level, has such a huge impact on how people are perceiving your brand and the value that they get out of it. And you could make a really strong argument that that is almost all of the value that they get out of it. Because why do people buy clothing and wear clothing in general? It's because they want to fit in with a certain identity. They want to come across a certain way, and they want to look a certain way amongst their peers. And when they're able to identify with your clothing brand in a way that gives them that feeling like they're wearing something cool, they're wearing something that has status, they're wearing something that other people will look at them and say, that's really sick. That's the main value that people are getting out of clothing in general. And so I hope that was an absolutely massive lesson for you. You can take this, start applying it, and just working it into your clothing brand to get so much better results than, trust me, than the average clothing brand that starts up out there. If you're thinking about starting up your own brand, or you're already running one, you've got to check out the Apparel Success Mastermind. It's a monthly subscription where you get direct access to this guy. We do monthly, not subscriptions, monthly live streams. Every single month, we do a Zoom call as a group. You can ask questions. It's a live Q&A. You get access to all my courses, and there's a community of other clothing brand owners in there. If you want to learn more, you can learn more at apparelsuccessmastermind.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.